All right, welcome everybody. I'm really excited. This is some exciting news. We had our architect look at the rotated model you all saw in our last episode, and while it was a bit of rework to rotate the design, he sent over the new plans and they're perfect. I have no notes or any adjustments.
No notes. No notes. No notes. It's perfect.
He did suggest some minor changes, so we're going to take a quick look at those. And I'll probably go through this one a little quicker. If you want to get a bit deeper into the design, check out episode 7, where I go through the 3D model version of it. Okay, this is the really exciting part. So we can see that we have the new plans, we have the new orientation, and it's looking really, really nice. And now we have the basement. So from that wetland delineation, which is kind of just a fancy way of saying where they put the flags and then measure it all out. So it's going to cross the 100-foot barrier right here. So the really only thing that's even getting within that 100-foot barrier is really the bulkhead, which you can see just over here. And then this is the rest of the basement. So it's going to have, a little spiral staircase here. And then this is probably where like the bar and kind of seating area is. And then here you can see this like swing out door a little bit here. And then so this is where the actual movie room is going to be. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just to touch on this one. So this is the kitchen and kind of the main floor, really. So you can see here that it's going to have the bedroom, the windows, bathroom, kitchen, island, the 4 bay doors over here, and then the laundry. The kind of notable things that I want to call out is that with the 4 bay doors, the 4 panel doors here, they actually have a double swing door here and then 2 fixed windows either side. The company that we're getting the windows and doors through, they don't make a 4 panel door itself with like a 2 swing in the middle. And I really wanted to have swing doors because it's kind of easier to open and close and stop the cats getting out. We're actually going with 2 windows either side of the 2 doors here. So it'll look really nice in the end, but I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I'm actually going to point out, I'll show you this in better detail later. See these like little light dotted lines here above the table, the island? You'll see in a moment that they were actually a little concerned with the new roof structure that it was actually going to put too much force on these front and back walls. So they have to add like a support beam through the middle. Now, I was always planning on doing like an island wood beam sort of cool thing. So I think we're going to actually like double those ideas up because we have to have a beam there anyway. So we'll make sure it's decorative and looks really nice. This is now where you can start to see that beam come across. So that's going to be like in the ceiling-ish area. We have the loft, and of course, you can see the designs for all the cutouts for the windows. We have the roof, so this is still going to be that flat roof above the mudroom, and this is going to be just a simple, straight 6/12 flat, sorry, single pitched roof. Okay, and now you can start to see the renderings of the outside come to life. This would be the east side, looking at the back essentially. And this is the front. So this is where we were starting to see the renderings in the very first slide as well. So we got the 5 big, they're like 3 feet by 5 feet windows. They're actually going to be pretty big. And you see this one has kind of lines through it. That's pretty interesting. What that actually dictates is that's going to be an egress window. So these 4 here are going to be fixed. And all these ones with kind of grid lines through them actually mean that it's going to be operable. So we can see very clearly which ones are going to be fixed, like the one in the mudroom is going to be fixed, but the doors and the windows up here fixed, and then these ones are operable. So that's pretty interesting. And it also shows, you can see here, that the additions roof is not going to go above the current house. So this is the current house roof right here. You can actually see that it's not going to be any higher. So it's still going to look aesthetically pleasing in the sense that it's not going to look like a big add-on. It's going to really tie everything well, nicely together. And then we have a couple of cutaways of what it's going to look like from the inside from various cross sections. And here we have the window and door package. So you can see that this also dictates if it's going to be egress, so being able to, enter and exit. And this is where we actually note that it's going to have a patio door and 2 fixed windows as side lights. Side lights basically meaning like fixed sides to a door. The other interesting thing is that I'll show you in another slide actually, but the windows that we decided to be fixed versus operable. So fixed windows are a lot cheaper. They're probably a good factor of like a half compared to operable windows because it's just glass and frame instead of all the mechanisms and sealing and all that sort of good jazz. But our architect made a really good point, and you can start to see it in this side where even the smaller windows, it's good to have cross breeze, right? So a few of them that we were like, hey, we're probably never going to really open. He actually suggested, hey, why don't you rethink that? Make sure that, say, the windows on the ends are actually operable, so you get some nice cross breeze that goes through. So this is the bedroom here, so we can go like through the bedroom and out through that mudroom window at the back. And now you can see some of the kitchen rendering. So this is that beam I was talking about, right? So you can see we kind of have that vaulted, open, really feeling in the kitchen here. But this beam is necessary to really tie these walls together. So we'll have this to be somewhat, decorative and nice, and maybe I'll hang some lights or something off it to give the island, a really nice aesthetic. I'm a really big fan of things that do double duty. I don't know why. It's just something I've learned about myself over the years. If something can do one thing, I like it even better when it does two things. The beam here, I'm always thinking like, oh, how can we make it do something else as well? So we're gonna add some electrical lighting and make sure that we can kind of light up the island with it. So that'll be kind of neat. And you can also see in this rendering on the right-hand side that they also extended the walls up a little bit so that as you climb up the loft ladder, you should have pretty well good standing height at the top of the ladder. You'll have the 8 feet right at the edge, so plenty of room at the edge here. But obviously, this is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter the closer you get to this knee wall. But it would be nice to have that full standing room. So they actually raised the sides of the structure here just a little bit so we can just gain a little bit of extra height. And now we're seeing it in top down form. So you can start to really see the layout here. We've got the bedroom, bathroom, hallway, kitchen, and, mudroom here as well. And now we have really the electrical layout. I mean, I can zoom in and kind of point at some things. If you guys would like, let me know down in the comments if you're interested in all the kind of like electrical, like where switches go and why. But the main thing that I kept thinking about is three-way switches. I mean, it's kind of like a simple thing, right? But like if we're going up and down the stairs, for instance, I want to be able to turn the lights off in the basement before we're walking down the ladder. The spiral stairs into the basement. So having, three-way switches there, three-way switches in the loft. So when we're up, we can turn it on. When we're downstairs, we can turn it off if we've forgotten. And you can see on this far right-hand side here, this is where I was talking about, adding a little bit of a light fixture to the beam itself. That's gonna be pretty cool. And then, of course, in the future, we're gonna add a screened-in porch off of this side. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure we do first is making sure we have the electrical there available so we can add a fan or some lights, stuff like that. And as part of that, he actually moved the door a little bit away. So it's actually going to be a bit of a bigger screened in porch than we were originally planning. But I think it's going to look really nice because this is obviously a very long kind of a front here, right? So having a bigger screen in porch will kind of break up the frontal facade of it a little bit. And it'll obviously be, nice and big to sit and hang out and, enjoy the backyard. So we'll definitely need like a fan and stuff and lighting. But I thought that was really neat. Okay, so some quick, like, general project updates. So because of the change, they obviously had to resubmit for pricing, so we're still waiting to hear back from that. And we did have the botanist this week come out and flag the wetland. So my surveyor is actually going to come out tomorrow and actually take the measurements from those flags to our planned addition and see where we land there. I also found a local firm that will submit the notice of intent to the Conservation Commission for us. In hindsight, looking back on this, what I probably should have done is hired a surveyor who also knows a lot about wetlands. That way I wouldn't have to, do a couple of things and call around a bunch of people and kind of collaborate it all together. But, here we are. So next, I'm actually going to be doing a bit of an office build. As you can see, I'm in a different location at the moment because we're starting to do the office. So there will be some episodes coming out about that soon. But until then, take care, folks.